If you are looking to take your embroidery to the next level, today's video is for you. We are going to dive into some of the decorative and textural stitches that add a really beautiful dimension to your hand embroidery designs. Whether you're making tiny knots, delicate petals, or gorgeous woven flowers, these stitches really will bring your embroidery to life. So let me walk you through each of these step by step, plus share some of the tips along the way to help you get them just right.
Next, let's jump up here to the French knots. French knots are actually really simple. They make a great center for flowers like the lazy daisy, or if you're just adding dots or to a design. So the French knot, you're going to come up through the middle of your dot or wherever you want to put your French knot. You're going to take your needle and the end of the floss that's coming up, and you're going to wrap it around your needle twice. Then you're going to put your needle back through that same hole and pull through. And then you get this little knot. And that's what we call a French knot. It kind of has a little look of a flower to it. And like I said, this is a really fun one to do like as a center to a flower. So if you made a flower and then you just want to add a center to it, you go back through same way, and you kind of want to keep this thread not tight but taut a little so that loop that you made still exists. You kind of have that flower look to it, but it's a really fun one. And if you want it to be a little bit bigger or thicker, you could use more threads. So there's the French knots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, let's do the lazy daisy. And the lazy daisy is actually very similar to the chain stitch. It's just bigger. So we're going to start actually in the middle where the more pointed edge of our flower would be, or our leaf petal for our flower. We're going to come up, make a loop, go back down in that same hole. So we have our loop here. And then we're going to come up here. We're going to come up from the back at the top of our petal. And we're going to put our needle through that loop we made. So just like with the chain stitch, we put it through that loop and pull. And then we go back down at the top there in that same hole. So we get this kind of petal shape. And then we just do that all the way around. From here, we make our loop. Come up at the top. And go back down through. You just go all the way around the daisy to make your design. Go through our last petal here. Go back down. And there you go. There is the lazy daisy. Now we're going to do the woven rose, and sometimes this is also called the woven wheel stitch, so either one works. But you'll see I have 5 prongs here for the rose or for the wheel, and each of these prongs I'm going to make a stitch. I'm going to start at the top prong, and I'm going to bring my needle up and down right in the center. And I actually switched out my needle and my thread because this design takes a lot of thread. And so I decided to use a little bit thicker of a floss. So I needed a little bit thicker of an embroidery needle. But I'm just going to go to the top of each of these prongs I'm going to go to the top of each prong and then go through the center. So we get each piece of the rose put together here. Last one. Now, if you wanted to make this bigger, you could add more prongs. You could have like 7 prongs or whatever, or tighter. It's up to you, but it needs to be in uneven amount. So 5, 7, 11. And then you're going to be going all the way around this rose. So you're going to take your thread or your floss and come up kind of in the middle here. And then we're going to weave over and under each of our prongs. We're going to weave over and under. So we're going to go over this one and under this one. And kind of pull it tight to the center. Over this one, under this one. Over this one, under this one. Over, under, over, under, and then pull. And you can kind of start to see it shaping here. And we're just going over and under all the way around continuously. You might start to notice as the flower gets a little bit bigger that when you pull your thread, it starts to kind of go over the top. So what you actually need to do is with your hands or with your needle, kind of guide it to make sure that it stays towards the sides so that your flower continues to go outward instead of folding in on itself. So you're really not pulling your thread very tightly or your floss. You're just being real sensitive, especially as you're getting farther around your loops. And you'll know you're done when you can't see any of these little prongs anymore that we have. So we want it to be all the way around as much as we can. Try not to do that and pull your threads. You want everything to be as covered up as you can get it so that you have that full flower effect. So we're getting really close. But you just don't want to pull anything real tight or else you'll end up with a smushed flower instead of a nice full pretty woven rose. Let's see, over. So we're going under this one. But it does start getting a little trickier. Of your little prongs are hidden, you're going to go up to the next one that you would have gone through and instead just go under to the back side of your rose here. And then we're just going to tie it off. So we'll go underneath once, twice, and then I like to do one more and then go through the loop and make just a little knot and trim. And now you have the woven rose all the way around. Isn't it beautiful?
And there you have some of the basic decorative stitches. We did the lazy daisies, the woven rose, and the French knots. Now, if you really are looking to change up your hand embroidery and you really want some help or some guidance, you're really going to love our beginner's guide to hand embroidery. This is a free downloadable guide for you. We have a link down in the description so you can go grab yourself a copy of it. It is one that we put together for beginners so they kind of know where to start and what they need to be successful. The first section tells you all of the tools and the equipment that you will need. Then we go into preparing for each of your projects and getting that design onto your fabrics. We go into setting up your hoop, and then you also get the stitch sampler, which you saw here in this video and in our previous videos, so that you can actually create all of these stitches on your own. If you are interested in this guide, check out the link down in the description. Let me know if you have any comments or questions on the video or on hand embroidery, and we will see you in the next video.